So, getting into this episode of GH, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode today. It was pretty cool, pretty fun. Elizabeth surprised the hell out of me. I will say that Elizabeth surprised me when she told Dante that she was changing the locks on the house and getting a security system put in. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wait a minute, you don't have a security system? I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't, but it's like living in that town. If I lived in Port Charles, if Port Charles was a real place and all that craziness was going on, I mean, I got craziness going on in the city I live in, so I know. Listen, my security, my house would be locked up tighter than Fort Knox. I'm just saying. I was kind of baffled. I said, Elizabeth ain't got a security system? I could have sworn listen, I don't know how you live in that town without one. Absolutely not. You got the likes of Victor Cassadine running around. You got Cyrus that was running around. All type of mob going on. I would have been had my stuff. I understand about the locks being changed because somebody done got up in her personal space, so I get that. She should. I think I did mention that before that she should get one of them Ring cameras put on her door or whatever. She definitely should. She should get some cameras on her house because Lord knows my next door neighbor got them. She got cameras all on her house, and I love it. Got to be better safe than sorry. Um, so of course, Dante was warning her about the reporter, telling her about the whole Michael situation. Because that reporter is so sleazy. Like, I mean, I get where he coming from. Tabloid news, it sells, it does, but he just, ugh. It's like dealing with him. You just feel like you feel dirty after you talk to him. Like you gotta go take a shower. Like you just feel filthy. Um, so of course, Dante is worried about, Sonny getting involved in this. He was talking to her about that, saying he gonna get Sonny to back off or whatnot. But he also gotta check out Jake's alibi. Um, because now Liz is sure that Jake's not involved in this, but Dante was like, "Listen, I'm gonna have somebody go to the library and check the login on the computers and make sure he was really there." I don't believe Jake was involved. I never really believed he was involved, but who the hell is doing this is the question. Because if it ain't her kids and it's not Betsy Frank, they need to be calling and checking on Heather Weber crazy tail. Like, is she still locked up? Is she managing to get out at some point, like, in and out of that place without somebody knowing? That's my first thing. I'd be checking on her crazy, but I'm surprised that they not. I don't even think they mentioned Heather Weber, so that's odd to me because that would be my first suspect. Or her little sick tail. That would have been my first call. Is checking up on her crazy behind, little Looney Tune. Um. So anyway, moving on from that. Um. So Dante ended up going to the penthouse or whatever, talk to Sonny about it. Because Sonny finally is getting some answers about what's been going on with Jocelyn and stuff like that. Um, Sonny, of course, was like, I'm gonna end this, and he basically told Dante, either you end this or I'm gonna end this. And I was like, see, I agree with Dante on this. I feel like Sonny shouldn't get involved because it's like, really, what can Sonny do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, just back off. Let Dante handle it because Sonny has a tendency sometimes to make things a little worse. So it's like, nope, back off. Let Dante, do his job. Let him handle his biz. You go on about yours and fix your mess. Um, Sonny noticed that though, how mad Michael is at him right now. And he was like, he ain't seen Michael this man since the whole AJ nonsense. Since he shot AJ and then he took custody of Avery. So he hasn't seen that in Michael in some time. I do agree with Dante. I feel like with the way things are currently going with the family, if Sonny is thinking about pursuing things with Nina, it ain't gonna work. You can't have your cake and eat it too at this moment. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the future is gonna hold, but for right now, you can't have Michael and Nina both in your life right now. It's not gonna work because they're just at each other's throats over this Wiley situation. So, and plus, Sonny didn't make matters any better when he went and advocated for Nina. You know what I'm saying? Like when he went to go talk to Michael on Nina's behalf, he did himself no favors with that. Because I think that really pissed Michael off when he did that. So I can't really blame Michael for being angry. It's like the family is still the situation with Nina is still so fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still very fresh. So I totally agree with Dante. Sonny gonna have to find a way to fix this. Keep trying to reach Michael. He gonna have to figure it out. I don't know how he gonna figure it out, but he gonna have to figure it out because he gonna have to find a way. Because having both of them in his life right now is toxic and it's combustion waiting to happen. It ain't gonna work. It is not gonna work. And besides, we all Nina's still a dingbat, still delusional. A lot of her actions like just scream delusions of grandeur to me. But if that's what Sonny want, then go ahead and go get yours. I think he being a fool about it, but that's just my opinion. So anyway, moving on from that. You know what? Even though Sonny's been acting very different in his personal life, where his family and his relationships are concerned, I felt like old Sonny was back today when he was talking to Miss Wu. I feel like whenever Sonny's in business mode, that's when you get the old Sonny. Even when he was talking to Cyrus a few months ago, that's when you get the real Sonny. You know what I'm saying? Like when he's in mob mode, you see the old Sonny. There's no, complication there. He's back to himself. So he got to figure out how to do that in his personal life. Because his business life, he's pretty much running that smooth. Um, Miss Wu was trying to broker a deal because she was like, well, since, there's no more 5 families and they're down to 2 families, they're going to intersect. Her territory and Sonny's territory is going to overlap each other. So she tried to broker a deal where she needs some product to run through some of his territory at the harbor. And of course, Sonny was cool with it. She's going to break him off a piece of the profits. But of course, he had his conditions, and one of them, of course, is no drugs, because we all know how Sonny is. He was like, no drugs, no kids getting hurt. And she has to give him a 48-hour, heads up when she's gonna, move a shipment. She agreed to it because it ain't like Miss Wu got a choice. But I don't trust her. I don't. It's something sneaky about her. Like her eyes, like every time she look at you, she just look like she about to play you. But I love Miss Wu though, because she got that mystery danger to her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you just won't see her coming. Um, and it was so funny because when Miss Wu started bringing up Michael's situation, Sonny said, He said, we're not talking about that. You came here to talk about business. That's what we're going to talk about. My family is off limits. He said, you worry about your family. I'm going to worry about mine. I like how Sonny kind of put her in her place, but we're going to see how long that lasts. Because like I said, Miss Wu got that quiet danger. Sonny better tread lightly with that one. I'm just saying, because she can handle business. So anyway, moving on from that. Britt and Brad was in the office talking and stuff like that. And, they was first talking about the whole matchmaking thing. And now, of course, he's back to the whole job situation. When he mentioned the job at the hospital, Britt was looking a bit uneasy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not all on Britt. Yeah, she's the co-chief of staff, but she got to run that by her other partner, her other co-chief of staff, which is Terry. She got to run that by her. And it's not easy convincing her to get on board with rehiring Brad. And of course, Brad was upset because he's not going to be working in the lab again. He's not going to be a lab technician again. I mean, he should have known that. You know what I'm saying? Like, getting your old job back is not going to be, as easy as you think. Especially with his history, his record. You'll be lucky. Unfortunately, he didn't get lucky on this one. And then, there was an option in there for food services. Brad looked like that was beneath him. He looked so insulted by that. But that whole food services thing got in there by accident because he ain't even qualified for that. And I'm glad Britt mentioned it. It was so funny how she said it. She was like, yeah, you ain't qualified for that. When she mentioned some of those jobs, he looked so insulted. Like, he just looked, like you Prince Harry or something, like, just it's beneath you. So she did find one that suited him, which was which one was that? It was like a lab consultant, basically, kind of job. And he was happy about it. He was cool with it or whatever. And I'm like, you ain't got no choice but to be cool with it. Brad was being so picky about what type of job he got at that hospital. I'm like, listen, beggars can't be choosers, Brad. You better be lucky that you got a friend who's in a position to hire your butt. And even if she does hire him for the lab consultant position, it's still contingent on Terry accepting it. because even though Britt is cool with it and she wants to hire him, she still got to get the seal of approval from her co-chief, And I think Terry would have been cool with it. Unfortunately, Miss Wu came and put a kibosh into that. Listen, Britt has no filter, and I love her because Britt don't give a damn who you are. She's not backing down, and she's not afraid. When Miss Wu came up in that office, Britt was like, "What do you want?" Britt was so rude. She was like, "What do you want?" She was like, normally I tell people to come in when they knock. I love her because I so agree. It's like, I don't give a damn who you are. It's like you're busting in my office like you own this joint. I'm the co-chief of staff. You don't run nothing in my hospital. Knock on my door, please and thank you. I agree. Like, Heifer, you need to knock. Who do you think you are? You are not Queen Elizabeth. Knock on my door and wait until I tell you to come in. I love how Britt's attitude is towards Miss Wu. She just don't give a damn. So Miss Wu came up in there trying to be all nice, talking about inviting her out to lunch, to get to know Britt. And Britt was like, "No, I'm busy." I love her. She was like, "No, I'm busy." Like, you would think anybody else would be scared of Miss Wu, like, especially knowing what she does for a living and stuff and her reputation. You would be afraid, but Britt said, I don't give a damn who you are. You could be Oprah Winfrey coming up in here. You could be, you know, John Gotti walking up and through here. I'm not afraid of you. You could be the Candy Man himself." Britt did not care. I like that little, wall that she put up when Miss Wu come up in there. She's just not afraid of her. But Miss Wu made it very clear to Brad that one, he's gonna live in an apartment rent free that she set him up with. Two, he's gonna work for her, and there's no discussion about it. Like, she put her foot down with Brad. I was like, listen, I don't know how Brad gonna get out from under Miss Wu, but he better think of something because Miss Wu basically owned him at this point. She has control of that man right now. Like, he's staying up in her apartment rent free. You got to work for her. Like, he has no other recourse. He has no option. So he better figure out how to, slay the dragon at this point. Otherwise, he's gonna be up under her thumb for the rest of his life. Um, and it was so funny because when Miss Wu was leaving, she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna call and set up an appointment or whatever for us to have lunch." Britt was like, "Should I be worried that she gonna poison my food or something?" I was like, "Yes, Britt, be very afraid. She might just poison your butt. Be afraid." Um. So anyway, moving on from that, I am so over BLQ and Chase at this point. Like, they need to really like admit their feelings for each other. Chase was sitting there basically telling Finn, like, "Nah, there's nothing going on between me and BLQ. We're just good friends. I'm about to live my own life and move on." She's sitting there talking about, "Well, we're just friends." She probably feel like that's what Chase wants. I feel like they need to be honest with each other because they're totally not honest at this point, and it's getting so irritating. It's like, listen, tell each other how you feel and move on already. I'm ready for them to be a couple because I done had enough of the dancing that they've been doing around each other. That's all they keep doing is dancing around it. It's like, why don't y'all hurry up and just get together? I do like a slow build to a relationship, instead of just forcing people to be together. But they got that natural chemistry, and it's like they need to just go ahead and just admit how they feel and move on with their life. Because I'm ready to see some hot, steamy love scenes between them, and just to see them as an official couple, for crying out loud. Um, so anyway, I'm glad that BLQ is taking, Chase's advice and stuff, and she might get into the whole songwriting thing and make that into a career. Because I agree, at least, if she can't sing anymore, at least she's still a part of the music business in some capacity. As a singer, as a songwriter, as a producer. You know what I'm saying? There's still other avenues in the music business that she can do besides singing, that can be very lucrative and very fun. Um, so of course they got the big news from Lucy that Brando and Sasha are married. And Lucy wanted to throw them a little party, a little reception or whatever when they came back. Maxie was like, "Yeah, that's all nice and well, but we got a party for this IPO that we got to throw." Like, Maxie said, "Listen, we need to worry about their little reception later. We got bigger things to handle with this company." I totally get it. So Maxie wanted to use one of BLQ's songs for the party or whatever. But it's like one of those duet songs, you know what I'm saying, where the half of it is sung by a male. So of course Chase is probably gonna be the singer. When he popped up or whatever, I said, of course, him and BLQ just need to go ahead and do it. Just get together already. So anyway, moving on from that. Speaking of getting together, I'm glad Finn and Elizabeth are, finally done with this whole let's take a break situation. Cause I felt like it was fool. It's like she spends plenty of time with her kids. There's no need for her to let her relationship take a back seat. If she's ready to move on with Finn, I say move on. And he was just babbling and rambling. I was so happy when Liz just told him, listen, shut up and kiss me. I love how Liz was sitting there taking charge. I said, go ahead, Liz. You take control of this relationship. Because, for a while, all the men that she dated always had control. I'm like, it's about time you take some control. That's how you do it. Tell him to shut up this time and get your groove on. Um. So, anyway, moving on from that, I am so freaking happy for Epiphany. I'm happy that they're going down this road with her and she's about to take the MCATs and become a doctor. And I'm glad that Portia's going to help her with it. She's gonna mentor her because in the field that they're in, especially in the medical field, like pretty much any field, especially with people of color, another person do not like to help another person when they're trying to get into the same field because they see it as competition. So they try to hold the other person down. I am so glad Portia is not that type of person. Like she genuinely wants to help her because I feel like this is a great thing for Epiphany. You know what I'm saying? She has over 20 years of experience. I think she can handle it. I know she was worried about um going into the program or whatever, going into, medical school and being a nurse, it was going to be hard. But it shouldn't be too hard because, like I said, she got 2 decades of experience. So she could do this with her eyes closed. You know what I mean? This should be second nature to her. So I'm glad that she's looking into it. Um, Curtis and Portia, they finally closed on the house. They signed the paperwork for the beach house. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a mortgage on that house. I'm pretty sure that house is expensive. Like, I understand Portia's a doctor and stuff, but I don't know her salary or whatnot, but I'm pretty sure, a beach house, especially in upstate New York, is pretty pricey, I'm sure. And, Jax probably wasn't living in no cheap old house. So I'm pretty sure that house got to be at least over $1 million to $2 million at the very least. But it's a beautiful set, though. And I'm glad her and Curtis got it. I'm trying to figure out, like, what's going to happen, though, because with Jordan being back and this whole marriage situation, I wonder how that's going to pop up. But I totally understand where Curtis is coming from when it comes to Epiphany and Marshall potentially dating. I mean, because both of them made it very clear that they don't even know really what's going on with them. Like, they're just friends for now and just enjoying each other's company. Like, they're not rushing into nothing, which is good. But I understand Curtis's concerns about Marshall because he's worried about, Marshall being a good person for Epiphany. You know what I'm saying? He knows that Epiphany could be good for his dad, but he don't know if Marshall could be good for Epiphany. And I totally agree because until we know more about his background and where he been for over 40 years, I don't know about them being no couple because I don't want my girl Epiphany in no foolishness. Like, she too nice for that. She too good. I don't want to see her get involved in that whatever foolishness he wrapped up in. Um, so Curtis ended up getting a phone call from Drew telling him that there's some inconsistencies about Marshall's past. I wonder what those inconsistencies are. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did Drew uncover? I'm curious to know. Like, I'm very curious to know. That's some interesting stuff right there. I want to know what he uncovered about that because that's going to be fun to find out. But yeah, this was a pretty good episode, I feel. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Anyway, hit the comment section. Let me know what you all thought. I'll see you all later. Good night. Peace.